This is Contractor Sense with Ruth King.
Welcome to Contractor Sense. Here you discover ideas, tactics, news, and information that matters to your contracting business and you. I'm your host, Ruth King. This episode is sponsored by Financially Fit Business. Go to www.financiallyfit.business to analyze your monthly financial statements, grow your business profitably, and build wealth in less than 10 minutes a month. Thank you for joining us. Here's how we will help your business and you today. Today is World Refrigeration Day. What's that? World Refrigeration Day celebrates the people and the technologies responsible for creating and maintaining the world we live in, a world dependent upon temperature-controlled environments. This event is sponsored and supported globally by industry, professional groups, scientific and engineering associations, as well as by governments and individuals. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with A.O. Smith's Josh Greene, who is the Vice President for Government and Industry Affairs, and recently honored with their 5th consecutive Energy Star Award, 3rd in Sustained Excellence. A.O. Smith is making a conscious effort to provide more sustainable water heating technology and how this helps us, helps the world, and helps consumers. Josh, welcome to Contractor Sense.
Thank you for having us, Ruth.
My pleasure. So, A.O. Smith has been looking at this and doing this and creating efficient water heaters, and with all the changes that are going on in technology and with the rules and regulations changing. Tell me how you all got into this. I mean, it's not like it's something that, we're going to do this because it's economically good and stuff like that for the environment, but there's a profit motive behind it too, right?
Well, Ruth, that's true, and thank you for the compliments. And certainly, A.O. Smith is appreciative of joining you today, and certainly our efforts in this regard. Efficient water heating is something that A.O. Smith has been doing for the better part of 50, 80 years. We were also a company that first introduced a water heater called the Conservationist many years ago.
Yes.
That was one of the most efficient water heaters that you could buy before things were going green. But having said that, certainly our sustained excellence in bringing high efficiency equipment that saves consumers money every single month as it relates to their water heating needs are very important to us. We do that with our standard products, but we also do that with our very ultra high efficient heat pump water heaters that we can certainly talk about. Use a lot less energy, are more environmentally friendly. And certainly working with the Energy Star program over many, many years, we've been fortunate to be able to sell these high efficiency pieces of equipment that help our environment and our customers.
Yep. You need to know that I was recently at the facility right outside of Nashville for PHCC, and I got a tour and the history of A.O. Smith and how it started as part of the car industry, and I'm sure you know all of that too, but what you're telling me brings back those images in my mind of what I saw when I was there. So I was very impressed.
Oh, terrific.
You all have done really, really, really well. So let's talk about, we talk about it from the consumer standpoint, and they save money on their utility bills and all those sort of fun things. But really, contractors themselves really can take advantage of this and educate the customer, right?
Absolutely. And our contractor partners are key. We can talk about all the other things that go into, obviously, the manufacture, distribution, and sale of our water heating equipment, just like any industry participant. But at A.O. Smith, our contractors are our voice of the customer at the end of the day. They're the ones that are interacting with the end-use customer across the kitchen table. And there's a level of trust that they have with consumers who look to them for their subject matter expertise in what water heater to purchase and how best to get it installed and financed and all the rest of that. So the contractors are extremely important. And yes, certainly with our high efficiency pieces of equipment, there's more margin there. Contractors do well. They're mostly small businesses, as you know, Ruth, better than anyone. So there's a win-win situation, both with our contractors and consumers with our high efficiency pieces of equipment.
Yeah, the thing that I find that's really interesting is that when the contractors are smart, and I use that not facetiously, But when they're really smart and they give a water heater, a high efficiency water heater, to their plumbers, to their technicians, so that they can experience it themselves in their homes,
Yeah.
they can actually, hey, I have one in my home. This is what I've been doing. And what's the consumer going to do at that point? I mean, they're talking to a quote unquote, as you say, a subject matter expert who's got one, who likes it and, saving money. Why would they say no?
No, they wouldn't, right?
Well, we hope not.
At the end of the day, and the trust factor and getting that voice of the customer, because our contractors play, as I mentioned earlier, such a vital role in our business. But that voice of the customer, and we use that a lot at A.O. Smith. Our contractors are a key part of that, because while the one hand they're saving consumers money and they're looking to share their knowledge and their experience, they also share that with us. It makes us better as well. So it's a great symbiotic relationship.
Yes. And for those of you who are listening, who are afraid to install these, go to their training facility. They'll show you how to do it.
Yes, we're thank you for that, Ruth. We're very proud of A.O. Smith University, and we're constantly improving it based on feedback from our contractors and installers, and just it's a wonderful resource that we have at the company.
Yeah, and the reality is it's close to Nashville. So if you want to go and spend some time in Nashville, excuse to spend some time in Nashville, go get your techs trained, because the training is there. So that's what I'm going to say from that perspective. Okay, so let's kind of talk about the energy savings. We have about a minute before we need to take a break, so we'll probably do this in two pieces. Are we looking at the first version, or like model 1 of the hybrid electric residential heat pump water heater, and then we're going to go to a version 2, which is even more energy efficient, and version 3, or maybe you can't say, but is this the base of it right now?
So no, I appreciate that question, Ruth. So we've been selling heat pump water heaters certainly for the better part of 20 years. So we're on new iterations of models. Our Voltex is the brand name for our heat pump water heaters, and we're on our Voltex AL series at this point that has some of the highest efficiency standards for heat pump water heaters on the market, 4.402 actually UEF, and it saves folks a boatload of money. Now, of course, that's all relative to the price of the electricity that's delivered to your home. So we're also working on new and innovative models to come out in the future. We certainly have roadmaps that put in engineering and design time in 5-year cycles. So we're at an advanced point with Voltex. Very happy with it. Our customers are happy with it. Our contractors are happy with it. Like anything else, it's still a newer technology in the water heating world, as you know, Ruth. And contractors are getting more comfortable with making these recommendations, but we're super excited about the product.
Well, very good. If they want to know more about the Voltex product, or just A.O. Smith in general, where do they go?
The best place to go is hotwater.com. It doesn't get any better than that, right? Hotwater.com. No. And it's a very innovative, interactive tool that anyone can use to help select the best product for their needs, including a heat pump water heater.
Very good. And we need to take a break. So thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. We'll be right back.
Are you one of the contractors who enjoys getting and analyzing your financial statements each month? If not, it's probably because you haven't taken the time to discover what your profit and loss statement and balance sheet are telling you. And you probably are not making good business decisions based on timely, accurate financial statements. You know you have to do something about this, but where do you turn? Ruth King's Makes Your Financial Statements Fun and Sexy online course. These easy to understand 4 sessions explain financial statements in English rather than accounting babble. You'll discover what your financial statements mean and how to analyze them each month. Then you'll have the info you need to spot minor issues and take care of them before they become major crises and run you out of cash. Enroll today. Click on the link in the show notes or call us at 770-729-0258.
We're back. Thanks for listening to Contractor Sense. I have the pleasure of speaking with A.O. Smith's Josh Greene, who is the Vice President for Government and Industry Affairs. So before the break, Josh, we were talking about the Voltex hybrid electric residential heat pump water heater. Good. Say it 6 times fast. But the thing is, it's a newer technology, and this industry is very steeped in tradition. And there's a few contractors who will step their toe into something that's new. And, what do we do to allay the consumer's fears, obviously, because it's new, but also the contractor's fears, simply because they're the ones who are recommending it to the consumers?
Right. No, a terrific question. And, it starts with something we were discussing previously, and that's training. We pride ourselves at A.O. Smith with A.O. Smith University and training our contractors who we bring in every single month to talk about all of our products, but including heat pump water heaters, which are gaining momentum in the marketplace, and getting them familiar with, comfortable with the product, how it works. Most of your listeners are subject matter experts, but essentially a heat pump water heater, right, is an air conditioner in reverse that puts through refrigerant the heat into a storage tank, and then you get hot water. But at the end of the day, the technology really are surrounding the refrigerants, and hey, I'm dealing with an air conditioner on top, and I don't really do that. Once they get familiar, our contractors kind of warm up to the product. They certainly understand the increased savings that customers
Sure.
Can be afforded, but it does have installation potential challenges and barriers versus a standard electric product or even a standard gas product. And that's something else that we're doing in terms of training, education, and awareness, both with our contractors, but also consumers.
Yeah, both of them are important. And I think of states with high electricity costs, California, especially. I mean, that one came to mind first. And, Washington is basically, for all intents and purposes, said no more gas water heaters after I forget how many years.
Yeah.
So the contractors are going to be looking for things like this, and they have to get comfortable with the heat pump, technology.
Yes.
The HVAC side has been using it for years. Now we got to get the plumbing side of it to get used to it too.
Absolutely right. And it's going to be a challenge. I mean, we should be candid and transparent about it, just in terms of the overall numbers, just scale, right? I mean, when you think about the 10 million pieces of water heating equipment, both residential and commercial, that were manufactured, distributed, and sold last year, 165,000 of those were heat pump water heaters. So
Okay.
there's plenty of runway, right, from a manufacturer point of view, but that also provides runway to do increased training, education, and awareness.
Yeah, and quite frankly, if a contractor wants to set himself or herself apart, this is one way to do it. I mean, we're green, we care about the environment. We're doing this to help not only you save, what was it, like $600 and something a year?
Yeah.
On your utility bill. It may be more in California, but on average, and we're doing something good for the environment, and not all contractors are ready to do that. So from my perspective, if you can help, with training and everything like that, getting these guys so that there's one more thing that makes them different and sets them apart from the run-of-the-mill contractors who are installing those 850,000 water heaters.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that, would be really cool for them to investigate. So let's take it one step further. So let's say a contractor raises his hand and he says, I'm interested, whether they're HVAC or plumbing, interested in talking to my customers and installing the Voltex AL. All right. What's the process for doing that? How long does it take on average? Things along those lines. If I raise my hand today, how soon can I competently, and I mean competently, install one in a customer's home?
So A great question, one with some caveats.
Okay. All right. Of course, you're allowed
Right.
caveats.
So, certainly we provide on AOS on hotwater.com, but also on A.O. Smith University, wonderful tools for our contractors to engage, educate, and speak about the product with the particular customer. With a heat pump water heater, the issue really becomes the feasibility of the installation at your home. We have to remember that the majority of the housing stock that exists in the United States at this point is pre-modern and updated building codes. Number one.
Yep.
Number two, a lot of water heaters, more likely than not, are installed in small spaces, closets, etc. Ones where a standard heat pump water heater of 50, 66, or certainly 80 gallons is not necessarily going to fit. But even if it does, you still have to run a refrigerant line and condensate drain, amongst other things. And then you have to look at your electrical panel. Do you have enough amperage to take a heat pump water heater, which standard is a 240 volt, 30 amp? So all of those things factor into the dialogue that the contractor is going to have with the customer. And assuming that it is otherwise affordable or feasible, then you have to think about when you get all these things done and you sequence. And just this dialogue you and I are having are ones that happen all the time across the country, and it raises the following flag. And that is, okay, I need my hot water. I need my water heater replaced, right? Because 85% of water heaters in the United States are replaced on a 24-hour emergency basis. So if I have to think about all of those things with a heat pump water heater, and my contractor says, well, or my installer says, I can do this for you. It's going to cost X, but I'm going to need a couple of days to do the work to install the product. That's a problem, right? So one of the things we need to be doing a bit more with heat pump water heaters and our contractors is proactive communication and proactive potential replacement before that emergency arises. Now, I'll conclude here by saying in certain parts of the country, California, other places where water heaters are routinely installed in garages or right outside the home, then some of these things can be overcome, assuming you have the electrical panel space to install the product. But generally speaking, we think there are going to be some innovative companies that are coming online here that have innovative ways to which you can expedite the installation of a heat pump water heater. But generally speaking, those are some of the things that, as an industry, certainly OEM, but certainly our contractor partners are telling us that we have to address moving forward.
Yeah. The other thing is make sure they're on a maintenance agreement, maintenance plan.
Yeah.
And, if you look at some of the really, really successful contractors, especially on the HVAC side, they replace more working equipment that is, 12 years old or whatever else it is before it's a failure. So if we can do that from the water heater side, so that, most of them aren't replaced on an emergency basis and they were replaced as a part of maintenance and the education is there, I think that will solve some of the issues.
Agree 100%, Ruth, and we're ready to sign you up.
All right. Final thoughts.
Well, first of all, thanks for having us. I really appreciate the time. More efficient equipment, including heat pump water heaters, are the future, the trend in sustainability, environmental awareness. We're excited about that. And we're excited to be working with our contractors moving forward.
All right. And the website one last time, please.
Hotwater.com.
All right. Thanks for being with me today, and happy World Refrigeration Day.
Thank you. Same to you.
And thanks to all of you for joining us. Choose the one thing that you discovered and implement it in your business. These ideas, tactics, and strategies help you make more money, have more free time, and give back. If you like today's program, spread the word. Please review this podcast on any device you're listening to it on. Help a fellow contractor make more money too. For comments or questions, call me at 770-729-0258 or email Ruth King at hvacchannel.tv. Thanks for listening. Have a great and profitable day.